How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you another episode review and recap of Ms.Marvel. Today's episode is episode 4, entitled Seeing Red. And one thing I do need you to see is that we have a like button over here, a comment section over here, and a subscribe button over there. I need you to hit both of the buttons. Make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this. And down below in the comment section, I need you guys to go ahead and give me a comment. I want to know what you think of the series, the episode, or my videos in general. So, before we begin, I just thought about how the episode's called Seeing Red. And wasn't there a show, a movie called, was it Turning Red? With, the whole Korean Red Panda girl thing. Kind of funny because this episode is much, even though I haven't seen that movie, know the basis of it's about mother-daughter relationships. This is heavy in this episode. Got me some notes over here, and man, it's a good episode. I think it's funny because I was seeing some people's videos. Some folks thinks that the series is in trouble. I don't. It's so weird. I don't know if people want, like, out of these 6 episodes, 6 to 8 episode series. I don't know what folks are looking for. It's usually a good idea that you come with an open mind. Even a person such as myself who is big on the comics, right? I'm big on the comics, and I was, everything I heard, I was initially upset about why would they change the powers, and then initially I heard, the lead actress's thoughts on the powers changing. Then I'm like, oh, and then I heard the big rant and spiel that Iman gave about this not being 616, no matter how much Kevin Feige wants to be. I was like, ah. So for me, it evened itself out. I was like, you know what? I like it when people who like the thing that they're making do it. And it's not even that. Like, there are tiers when it comes to acting, right? Typically, us comic book fans, animated show fans, these comics and anime shows, we typically really like actors and actresses or people who are playing these parts. We love it when they love the source material and they have so much care and understanding for it and they want to do right by it. But then we also love actors and performers who, even if they never read a comic before, they put their all into it because they're acting. Those are two of the biggest wins when it comes to on screen, right? You want someone who loves the stuff that they're doing, well, loves the stuff that they're reading, and they're like, I want to do this right. Or you love people that are like, hey, I don't really care about comic books, but I like this idea, and I'm going to give it my all. Same with directing. But Pish Posh, I'm going everywhere. This is obviously after Kamala ruined her brother's wedding, which, I mean, the clandestines were going to kill everybody, so I think she pretty much saved the wedding. But just the relationship that her mother Mooney has with her grandmother is so rocky. She is now they're on their way to Karachi, so it's just her and her mother. And apparently this also did happen in the comics where she went, to Pakistan so she could get away from everything that was going over in Jersey City. And it's really, you know, I really appreciate, especially the Disney Plus shows when they have, pardon me, when they have like Captain America, I'm gonna say Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then they have this show. And I'm trying to think of, is there another one, or Moon Knight, where you're showing like the different cultures and stuff like that. They do such a good job, and they're not sugarcoating anything. Kamala's even teased for she can't handle spicy food from her motherland because she lives in America. They make it for white people to eat. Even in a Chinese restaurant there in Pakistan, where she's like, "Why is the soup red?" He's like, "That's how it's supposed to look." Oh, I'm sorry. That's how the white people eat. It's very true and authentic to itself, and it feels organic. It doesn't feel forced. I love it. I love it. And she learns the truth about the jinn, from a man called Walid. He is the former Red Dagger, but he is part of the Red Daggers. Red Dagger, of course, is a character from Ms.Marvel. Guy named Kareem wears a red mask over, and he's really proficient with throwing, yes, you guessed it, daggers. But here, I like how they did it, because first I was kind of like, oh, are the Red Daggers just a society now? No, they are a society, but the mantle is passed along from one person to the next. Even though Waleed does still have his mask on, right? But Kamala learns that she's not like the word jinn is not like from the religious text or in the mythical text. And I love the example he gives that if Thor had landed in the Himalayas, he would have been called a jinn. Which, okay, cool. Apparently, these folks are from a different dimension called the Nur. It means light, and that's also how Kareem was able to find her. He found her by sensing the Nur and finding it. And the clandestines, they don't want to just go back home. They want this other Nur dimension to overtake ours and just get rid of everything. Which some people get confused because when you think about multiverse, you're like, oh, it's a different dimension. No, there are alternate realities and then alternate dimensions. Alternate realities is the macro to the micro of alternate dimensions. And there's various dimensions within the movieverse. There's a dark dimension, there's a chaos dimension, mirror dimension, wherever the heck Gore is in those trailers. And there's the Noor dimension. And it seems kind of interesting that perhaps Kamala's great grandmother Aisha, perhaps she wasn't part of the clandestines, right? Because we're getting the feeling that when what's the guy's name? Kamran's mom says, I was betrayed. And I'm like, did Kamala betray you by saying she needed some more time? Maybe Aisha had betrayed them, perhaps. Who knows? But yeah, gotta remember, there's two bangles of these. There's two of these bangles. They only found the one that I still think was on a dead Kree. So, yeah, let's talk about. You know what? I'm gonna skip some of my notes and go straight to the Red Daggers. While she and and I'm gonna go a very roundabout way of doing this. When she, sees her grandmother again and she talks to her about the bangle, her grandmother's very nonchalant about them being jinn. And she's like, it's genetics, of course. And it's something that her father had told her that she is, right? And that's pretty dang interesting. That she knows about the bangle. She knows she can see the train. She says you're focusing on the wrong thing. You're focusing on the why, like on the how. Like, how can I see the train? Where is the train? None of this matters. The bangle is trying to tell you something, and I knew that you needed to be here to figure it out, which she did. Pardon me. One of the greatest things is since Kareem ran into her, found her, she has her mask on. Um, she has an interesting fight with him, and by him introducing her to the super secret hideout within this Chinese restaurant of the Red Daggers, she's able to find out more about herself. And apparently, the Red Daggers, they protect their people from threats unseen. So they could have been fighting thousands and different, like, who knows how long the Red Daggers have been around. Although it seems that Kareem might be the last Red Dagger because our man Waleed, he is he's no longer with us. Got killed by the clandestines. Which one of my complaints is the clandestines broke out of the Department of Damage Control's maximum security, where also Abomination appears to be. I'm gonna get to why the DOC sucks. They were able to get there in like 2 days. Like, it's so weird that they were able to break out, somehow get a flight. Does one of them fly? I don't think one of them flies, and get there. And then the battle ensues. We will get to the battle in a moment. But yeah, I appreciate that we have this. The exposition was really good. It didn't dawn on me until a little while ago that this was good exposition explaining where our main character came from. And I can heavily appreciate that since her powers are different, her background and everything is different. And while some people really want the Inhumans to show up, of course, I admit there is some bias there because I don't like the Inhumans and I don't care about the Inhumans. I already told you there's only three that really matter: Medusa, Crystal, and Lockjaw. You can find a way to give us them. I don't care about the others. Um, but yes, and it's and Waleed basically says, well, since you are of this dimension, this is why your powers manifest the way they do. Because you know the clandestines, they make these weapons and everything. They can't make crystal energy. Well, nor because this is light. It's hard light. She makes these hard light constructs. She can make the fist and swing the fist and things of that nature. Her fighting style, she's getting a little bit better, but it's it's mostly improvised because she doesn't have a trained background like Kareem, and that's kind of cool. I really appreciate this. Like, it's not that, oh man, she automatically knows how to fight. It's she she's probably seen heroes fight, but she has to do something that's comfortable for her body. She's able to sling the big fist, use its weight to move over and kick people, and use her foot to kick people off and make shields. She even made a ramp so they wouldn't crash into a family. I do like that these fools got killed too. Like, they killed, was it Waleed? Sacrificed himself because he's in front of the leader, the evil lady. I don't remember her name. Don't care about her name. She's Kamran's mom. Right in front of her. He probably could have dealt with her, but in order to save his two pupils, threw the daggers to kill the guy, and of course he got stabbed. And we also get, because I'm skipping ahead again, we get the prototype outfit for Kamala. Now that Waleed gave her a more of a, it's a vest, right? That when it comes to their culture, every stitching of every fiber has a story and history behind it. So she's like, here, this is for you as part of your history. She's kind of seems like she is part of the Red Daggers, but yeah, she puts it on, and it's the blue that goes with the red that she has and goes with her mask. The costume's coming in. In the last episode 6, we were gonna get the full reveal, right? Um, let's talk about, why do moms in the MCU suck, right? We have, at least in the shows, because Thor and Loki's mom, Frigga, she didn't suck. Seems like, I mean, Tony was willing to try to kill Bucky and beat the hell out of Steve because his mom was murdered. But for some reason, we have Moon Knight's mom being just a jackass. We have Kate Bishop's mom being just a jackass. And now we have Cameron's mom, because once they break out of the DOC, she's like, leave him, because he got hit by the sonic gun thing. Leave him. He made his choice. You're leaving your son? And he was like, their word for mom. Like, mom, really? Like, yeah. So I don't know why they suck. And let's talk about this cycle. So because because Kamala's grandmother very open with where she comes from. Mooney, Kamala's mom, she was always shunned constantly and looked down on by their neighbors and everybody. And their relationship is very rocky. She even says, I didn't need stories from my mom. I just needed you to be there. And it's so, like, the first interaction she says is, are you on one of those weird diets because your skin is dry? And it's so crazy that Kamala's mom doesn't realize she's repeating the same cycle that was put upon her from her mom. Like, oh, she even says, when Kamala's like, are you okay? She's like, oh, you know how moms are. Yeah, because you treat her like your mom treats you. Even though it's very apparent that the people in this family love each other. Mooney wants her mom to come to America because she's getting old. Why don't you just come and live with us? Which I really do hope happens, right? And she's like, well, I thought you went across the world to get away from me. No, I had to get out of here. And I think it would do Kamala good to have another person, at least another person that knows, but have another person that someone that's from her homeland that can come here and help. Because now that the Red Daggers are gone, I don't know if Kareem is going to be world hopping or where the other. I don't know where the other Red Daggers are because that base was huge. Now they did meet with some of his friends, so maybe some of them are Red Daggers. Maybe, who knows? But yes, the and funny thing when they meet one of Mooney's friends from Pakistan, she even said, "Oh, Kamala's not a traditional Pakistani name. Your mom was a rebel, and there it is. Your rebellious streak." And maybe she's saying, "I don't want you to be like me," but at the same time, you being like you left to find other happiness. What are you? It's such a weird and vicious cycle. And I really hope that Kamala has that conversation with her mom at least next episode. There's 2 episodes left. There's 5 and 6, which is interesting because next weekend is Thor: Love and Thunder. And usually the shows end the same week that a new movie comes out. So I find it interesting that we're gonna get episode 5 next week, and then I don't know if there's a midnight release, but Thursday, Friday, the weekend we're gonna get new Thor, right? But yeah, yeah. What else am I supposed to talk about here? We also see why she calls herself Sloth Baby. She has a giant sloth pillow, which she gets teased about. She got teased about the clothes, teased about the heat. The poor girl is just trying to find herself, and I love the conversation she has with her grandma, where her grandmother, her grandmother is from the partition era. She lived through all of that, and she still has trauma about all of that. And when Kamal's like, "What do you ever find yourself? Do you ever get over it?" And she says, "Would you think you ever get over it?" And she says, "Probably not. But you know what? Who's in a rush to figure it all out? Don't be in a rush. You will figure it out, and you never stop trying to figure yourself out." Also, interesting thing, we find out that the bangle says, "What you seek is seeking you." That seems very ominous. So maybe what Kamala is seeking answers about herself. Maybe the answers are also seeking her. Maybe what the clandestines, maybe them seeking to take over this dimension, maybe their dimension wants to take over them. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I just came up with that on the fly. Anyway, good action this time around. Um, we get spurts of action here and there, like little heroic moments. These kind of feels like movies. These episodes feel like movies at times because sometimes you get a little bit here, a little bit there. Unless you're Hawkeye or you know what's another one that had tons of action, Hawkeye or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where it seemed like there was always an action set piece somewhere in the episode, right? Somewhere in some of the episodes, right? This and the action was good. Chases on foot, chases by car. I like that when they reached the dead end, they both turned around. They were like, "All right, it's dead end." So, crystal hand, daggers, and when the bad guys jump out, like they always jump out, like a holes, they get beat. They get beat down. Um, I do like how Waleed used mist and smoke. He was beating their butts. Like he was. They may have been after Kamala and the bangle, but he was kicking butt really, really good. It's a shame that he is gone. Um, you always notice. I noticed, and this happened actually in Moon Knight. Why is there always a black woman that's a part of the villain squad? I'm just putting it out there. There's always a black lady in there that's a villain. You got the crooked, the uh, evil cop that was with oh god, what was the crocodile? Evil crocodile goddess, right? And there's always some kind of even Carly Morganthau, evil black chick with the flag smashers. You can get some evil black dudes in there. I'm just saying you can do that. You can do that. It's okay. It's okay. Uh, where is my other? I like the landmarks. I like that Kamala is learning about. Like I said, she's learning about her powers and learning about where her family comes from. She's learning about the history of her people. Even when she makes offhand jokes that she doesn't mean to be insulting, like, oh, this area is like Florida, right? And they're like, well, the oldest people from the partition live here, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, this is she's a teenager. This is how she's gonna get through it. But it makes so much sense. The jokes were on point. We got references to Terminator, Ninja Turtles, Donkey Kong. That's my stuff. Where else? Love the music. I need to find the soundtrack because the music they choose for the beginnings and ends of the episodes are really, really, really good. Am I missing anything? I actually talked about everything I want to talk about. Now, here's another thing that I'm thinking about. Because obviously, Kamran should be showing up again, and obviously, he's not a bad guy. And you have Karim. Karim might end up being, might come over to America. Who knows? He does in the comics. And you have Kamala. That's three brown people. And remember Moon Knight, we got the Red Scarab. What if there's like a Brown Avengers? That would be. I'm wondering how are they gonna do this with all of these different superheroes that now we're getting more representation. I love it. Like there has to be some kind of group. If you're not gonna do Young Avengers, if if you're not, well, Runaways are their own thing. But it would make so much sense that I don't know if the Defenders are ever going to come back. There's so many team names and so many old team names. You guys could do some cool stuff with him in Marvel Studios. I'm kind of waiting on pins and needles just to see what's going to happen. And I did say something. So with the whole dimension thing, I find it interesting that another person put Professor X's picture up here. Could Krakoa be another dimension? Could the mutants have been around all this time and they were tired of all the persecution and all the BS and they just take the House of X and Powers of X storylines that Hickman wrote for us and just say, no, this is what the X-Men were from Jump? Or there was another storyline where Emma Frost had erased uh, her existence from other people's minds just to lay low. And there's been other, I think it was X-Men Evolution, that very, very C plus cartoon. Charles Xavier, they did a good job of being like, wow, I wiped the minds of everyone. Now you don't know what mutants are, and now we don't have to worry about it. What if Shield already knew about the mutants and they're just in this other dimension, and eventually they got to come out? Who knows? I'm just saying, Feige, you gotta do something about mutants, bro. You gotta show me X-Men or something. You cannot have this and then not use it. I don't care if you have other stuff. You can't have this and not use it. It's like DC not using Batman. It's like Sony not milking Spider-Man, which they are milking very horribly. You gotta do something, bro. Please. Oh yeah, DLC sucks. Like, you have Abomination who always seems to break out thanks to Wong. You have these guys, like, why would you have one guard even if the people in question are strung up like this and walking down? Why wouldn't you have another guard or guards with them and they're supposed to be superpowered beings? It just looks like you guys also just kind of lock folks up just because you were there, but they were causing, they are the bad guys, they deserve to be locked up, but still I don't feel like there's much due process with DLC. Damage control sucks in the MCU. Is there anything else? I think that's everything. I'm gonna give this episode a big old 4 out of 5. I'm actually very close to giving it 5 out of 5 because I left the episode feeling very satisfied. One thing I forgot to talk about is the ending, where evil mom, she's like, I had enough of this. Stabs the, tries to stab Kamala. She puts the bangle up, and a reaction happens. The train comes, and Kamala's on the ground, and now it looks like she is back in the era of the partition, right? Right when her grandmother had to take that last train. Did she actually time travel? Did she make a big detailed illusion that only people with Noor can see? Uh, it's a good question. It looks like they did a good job of conveying the hopeless feeling and the chaos that had went on during those events, and just man, I'm interested at this. This is almost on the same level of, oh no, was Mark in a mental hospital the whole time? It's one of those type of things. Who knows? Maybe she did go back in time, and maybe she is the Trail of Stars that helped her grandmother find her way back to the train. Oh wow, the Trail of Stars could have actually been her heart light stuff. That would be an interesting Back to the Future time loopy thing. I'm here for it. 4 out of 5. Great episode. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comment section down below. Please don't forget to give me a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And as well, hit the notification bell. Be notified of more videos like this. And do share the video. As always, thank you for taking some time out to spend some time with me. Be good, be blessed, wash your hands, wear that mask, be safe out there, everybody. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. And I'm telling you, we will get through everything together. And I promise that I will see you guys next time.